She found her wedding picture inside a fish she bought. You won't believe how it got there. 9 years passed like the wind. The little baby Janet once carried on her lap through tears had grown into a fine boy. His name was Daniel. He was tall for his age. His eyes were bright, and he carried the kind of smile that could melt even the hardest heart. Janet, though poor, had raised him with love. Every day she struggled under the hot sun, washing clothes, fetching water, and sweeping compounds. She earned very little, but she never allowed her son to go hungry. Even when her own stomach was empty, she made sure Daniel had something to eat. The villagers admired her strength. They would often whisper, "That woman is strong. Look how she takes care of her son alone." But behind Janet's strength was a river of tears. At night, when Daniel was asleep, she would sit in the corner of their hut and cry silently, thinking of the life she once had and the betrayal that drove her here. Now Daniel was turning 10 years old. The night before his birthday, Janet sat on the floor, her hands folded in prayer. "God, please give me strength to make tomorrow special for my boy. He deserves more than this life, but this is all I can give him." The morning came bright and cheerful. Daniel woke up with excitement. He ran to his mother and hugged her tightly. "Mama, today I'm 10, he shouted with a wide smile. Janet kissed his forehead. "Yes, my son, you are growing fast. May God bless you with many more years." Later that morning, Janet sat beside Daniel on the wooden bench outside their hut. She looked into his eyes and said gently, "My son, today is your birthday. Tell me what you want to eat, but remember, it must be something within my small money. I will try my best to get it for you." Daniel placed a finger on his jaw, pretending to think deeply. He squinted his eyes like an old man, making his mother laugh. Then suddenly, his eyes lit up. "Mama," he said softly, "I want fried fish." Janet's smile faded a little. She looked at him carefully. "Fried fish," she repeated. "Yes, Mama, I want fried fish," Daniel said, his face glowing with excitement. Janet sighed. "Daniel, you know fried fish is expensive. We can't afford it. But," she touched his cheek with her rough palm, "I will try. Even if it is just one small piece of fish, I will buy it for you." Daniel clapped his hands in joy. "Thank you, Mama." So that afternoon, Janet held Daniel's hand, and together they walked to the market. The market was busy as usual. Women shouting the prices of tomatoes, men carrying bags of rice on their heads, children running around. They reached the part where fish was sold. The smell of fresh fish filled the air. Big fishes, small fishes, all laid on the wooden tables, their silver bodies shining in the sun. Janet walked up to one fish seller, a woman with a loud voice. She greeted her politely. "Good afternoon, my sister. Please, I beg you in God's name, can you sell me just one small piece of fish? It is my son's birthday. I don't have much money, but I want him to taste fish today." The fish seller looked at her with pity. Times are hard, but I will see what I can do," she said. Before the seller could cut a small piece, Daniel's eyes went wide. He pointed his little finger at the biggest fish on the table. "Mama, I want that one," he shouted, his eyes full of desire. Janet's jaw dropped. She bent down to him quickly. "Daniel, that fish is too big. You know we can't afford it. Please don't do this," she whispered. But Daniel shook his head stubbornly. "Mama, I want that one. Only that one. Please, Mama, please." His voice trembled, and before Janet could stop him, tears started rolling down his cheeks. He began to cry loudly, pointing at the fish again and again. "Mama, it is my birthday. I want the big fish." Janet's heart broke. She held his hands, trying to calm him down. "My son, please don't cry. You know your mother doesn't have much money. I can't buy that fish. It's too expensive. Please understand." But the boy's cries grew louder. His small body shook as he sobbed. People in the market began to look at them. Some shook their heads, others whispered amongst themselves. Just then, a tall man walked up to the same stall. He looked like someone who had just returned from the city. His shirt was neat, and he wore a cap to shield himself from the sun. He had come to buy fish, but as he reached the table, he overheard the little boy crying. The man turned and looked at Janet, who was now wiping her son's tears helplessly. He looked at Daniel, who kept pointing at the biggest fish on the table. He asked softly, "Madam, why is your boy crying?" Janet's face burned with shame. She bowed her head. "It is his birthday today. I told him I will buy him fish, but he chose the biggest one, and I can't afford it. I only wanted to buy a small piece for him." The man's eyes softened. He looked at Daniel again, then back at his mother. "So, today is his birthday?" "Yes," she whispered, almost in tears herself. The man smiled warmly. "Then, let the boy enjoy his day. I will pay for the big fish." Janet gasped. Her eyes widened. "Sir, no, please. That fish is too costly. I cannot let you—" But the man raised his hand. "Don't worry about the money. It is my gift to him. Madam, let your boy be happy." Daniel stopped crying immediately. He wiped his face and looked at the man with wonder. You will buy me the big fish?" he asked in a small voice. "Yes," he said, patting his head gently. "Happy birthday, son." The fish seller wrapped the big fish, smiling as she handed it over. The man paid in full, without even asking for change. Janet could no longer hold back her tears. She dropped to her knees right there in the market, her hands shaking. Daniel also kneeled beside her, holding the fish like a treasure. "Thank you, sir," Janet cried, her tears rolling down like rain. "God bless you. May you never lack. May you never see shame." The man smiled again, but this time his eyes seemed to hold something deeper, like he was not just a stranger, but someone sent by fate. He looked at Janet one last time, then at Daniel, before slowly walking away into the crowd. Janet remained on her knees, still trembling, her son hugging the fish like a treasure. Something about that man felt unusual, but she could not place it. And that evening, Janet had no idea that this simple birthday gift would open a new chapter in their lives. To be continued.